Hey guys, only 13 days until 5th job. So for this set of patches, the cap has been raised, critical system is being revamped, and the status resistance system is revamped. So after the patch and maintenance, the hyperstats and link skills were reset, so you have to quickly go back and reassign them. The link skill system was revamped in a way that now you can just select the character you want, and you can assign all of your link skills essentially at once from that character. As for which link skills to select, I haven't changed my link skills at all, so I'm still using Pirate Blessing, Fury Unleashed, Phantom Instinct, Light Wash, Hybrid Logic, Wild Rage, Cygnus Blessing, Elementalism, Rin Blessing, Judgment, Terms and Conditions, and Focus Spirit. Now, you could swap out Cygnus Blessing since they've reworked Abnormal Status Resistance, but in my personal opinion, Abnormal Status Resistance is still quite good. It reduces the overall time a status will affect you, so despite being debuffed constantly, if you have higher status resistance, the debuff will affect you for less time. As for your hyperstats, there are 5 key stats to which you should put your points into. They are critical rate, critical damage, ignore defense, damage, and boss damage. Now, if you want to just see a really high range, then putting points into damage above all else is also suitable, but just be aware that this damage stat only really helps when you're fighting monsters. If you're fighting bosses, then boss damage and damage actually add together, but a level 10 damage hyperstat gives less damage than a level 10 boss damage hyperstat. Also, it's usually a bad idea to pour all your points into one stat. It's better to level them up similarly, such as getting them all to level 5, then level 6, then 7, and then 8. Also, avoid putting it into your main stat. The main stat is only an additive stat, it is not affected by potentials. Last but not least, this is only a rough guide. You can tweak your hyperstats in any way you wish, depending on your playstyle and what you intend on doing. If you're just training, then damage is fine, but if you plan on fighting endgame bosses, and you plan on optimizing your potential lines, then using hyperstats to improve your boss damage and PDR is probably a good way to go. Furthermore, putting points into critical damage is well advised. It improves your damage significantly, so I suggest you do it. So, with all my buffs that I usually use when fighting bosses, my range is about 8.47 million. Now, this is actually quite low for my stat range, but this is mainly because instead of going with percent attack, I've got an optimized route which is percent boss. With my current boss damage and attack lines, if I was to cube and manage to add another 40% boss line, it would be the equivalent of adding 14% attack. Likewise, if I increased my boss damage by 30%, it'd be the equivalent of adding 10% attack. In other words, I actually need more boss damage. I'll put some calculations on the screen to show you how I came to this conclusion. So what's my damage like now? So before the patch, my damage was capped at 120 mil and 150 mil depending on what attack I used. Now, there is no cap, and so I hit my full damage. So with my first strike, Assassinate, I can deal anywhere between 240 mil up to 388 mil damage if I use Darksight. So I was already about 2 to 3 times stronger than the original cap. So after the 5th job patch hits, all players will gain significantly greater damage. V-cores will be used to increase final damage, and also the arcane symbols will also further increase your stats. I hope you found this video informative. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.